Dave Cuff, HME Business Magazine. I'm here at MedTrade Day 2, MedTrade East Day 2 with Barry Hassett. He's the Vice President of Marketing for CARE. Barry, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
So one thing that I've been wanting to talk to the folks at CARE about for a little while is the MyCare Platform, which is a remote patient monitoring, remote device monitoring system for portable oxygen concentrators. It's something, that whole development I've been watching in portable oxygen for a while, and I think anybody in respiratory oxygen care has been watching it. And I think everybody's kind of wanted it to mature, but they've also wanted it to mature in certain ways. And so, what was the, why don't you describe MyCare, and we can kind of get into the reasons behind why you developed it the way you did.
Okay. So I think you were correct in describing it as a remote device monitoring platform.
Yeah.
That's really how, that's the intent that it was built with. And it allows any patient with a Bluetooth-enabled personal device to link directly to their Bluetooth-enabled oxygen concentrator and share data from that machine with their provider.
And the sorts of data that's getting shared with the provider, how would you describe them?
So there's data that are specific to the battery life of the device, to the functionality of the device in terms of the oxygen that's being delivered, to data that's specific to any alarm that is going off on the device. So it's really intended to give the provider insight into the functionality of the device and any issues that the patient might be having, and potentially give them the opportunity to remotely troubleshoot those issues rather than have to send somebody out for a service call.
There you go. And so it's very much, I think some people have referred to this approach as sort of fleet management, where you're using technology to manage your fleet of oxygen devices out there in the field.
Correct.
Now, here's a question for you. Are we also looking at usage data? And this is where I might be veering into uncomfortable territory, but I think it's, I'm kind of curious, do you guys have a design on seeing how patients are using the devices, or is it more seeing how the devices are performing?
It's more seeing how the devices are performing. So this platform was built with the provider in mind and to meet the needs of the provider.
Gotcha.
So, unlike CPAP, providers are not required to measure patient compliance when it comes to oxygen.
Exactly.
So this is really focused, on monitoring device performance, and again, giving them the opportunity to manage their fleet remotely, and hopefully improve their operational efficiency with that.
Gotcha. And so on the provider side, when they're looking at these devices, what does it look like? Is it like a screen with a list of devices? How would you describe the interface?
So there are a variety of ways that they can look at the data. They can look at the device-specific data. They have visibility into any device on the fleet that is sending data into the platform. So they can also compile data about the fleet in full, as well as look at individual device data.
Gotcha. So it's kind of, you get this holistic look that you can then drill down on a device level. Does it give you any sort of like alarms or anything like that? Say some device is having a fault, will it like come up and be red or something?
Yeah, so anytime a device alarms, that is tracked by the system, and they have the ability to go in and look at those alarms, see what they are. If there's any concern either on the part of the provider or the patient, again, potentially have the ability to help troubleshoot those remotely.
Gotcha. And say it's a remote troubleshooting kind of thing. Are they able to kind of and this is where I'm not sure, are they able to kind of work with the user to, if there's maybe a problem where the battery, I don't know, has to be like pulled in and put back out, pulled out and put back in or something like that. Can they walk users through some remote troubleshooting?
Yeah, so they would do something like that over the phone, but again, they would have insight into what alarms were going off in the device, and hopefully at that point know what queries to make of the patient to help kind of walk through the troubleshooting process and hopefully address things remotely versus requiring a service call.
Gotcha. And can they do software settings and things like that remotely on the device?
No, it doesn't.
No, okay.
Does not provide that capability.
Okay, all right. And then what care devices does it work with?
So that's where this system is particularly unique. So we provide, what we would consider to be sort of full functionality. So it works with the Freestyle Comfort portable oxygen concentrator, with the Eclipse transportable device, as well as with the Companion 5 stationary concentrator.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's not just the portable devices.
That's correct. Yeah. So it's the breadth of application within our portfolio is something that really is unique to MyCare versus similar platforms out there.
Gotcha. And is there anything that needs to be done? Like, say these are devices that are out in the field. Is there anything that needs to be done to these devices, or are they just sort of ready to go?
So the Freestyle Comfort and the Eclipse 5 come already Bluetooth enabled. With regard to the Companion 5, there's a standard version and a Bluetooth enabled version.
Gotcha.
So in order to use it with MyCare, they would have to put the patient on a Bluetooth enabled device in advance.
So it's basically put the app on the phone and you're good to go.
Put the app on the phone will discover the device, and you're good to go. It starts sending data from there.
Man, that's exciting. So do you guys have providers out in the field already deploying this?
We have a handful of providers that are deploying. So, to be frank with you right now, COVID, I think, continues to distract providers.
Oh, yes.
They're still quite busy managing, the increase in demand for oxygen with their patients. So, we expect to see adoption increase as COVID levels off and hopefully decreases here in the not too distant future.
Okay, all right. Barry, thanks very much for your time and the information.
Yeah, absolutely. Pleasure to be here.
Oh, yeah.